Good morning, Modern Mamas. It is so good to be with you all this morning. The way y'all just took me to church, to the founders of the Momference, to all the women behind the scenes that have really showed out with putting on this conference and creating an experience for all of us who need to be refueled and refreshed. I'm just so glad to be here. I'm Brittany Hunt. I am in from Greensboro, North Carolina. And what a joy it is. That praise and worship session. Y'all, I'm a church girl. I'm a straight up church girl. Um, been in church all my life. I know it's some other modern mamas who feel me on this and who may still find themselves being a church girl. I'm a straight up church girl, and y'all have taken me all the way to church this morning. And I'm so thank you again for having me. Modern Mamas, I know that you all have spent all weekend long being poured into, being revived, being refueled. And today we are looking to be restored. The ways in which we navigate life and the ways that we do what we do, it leaves room for us to be restored. I talked about being a church girl. I'm a church girl. I'm also the product of divorced parents, as well as parents who had to co-parent. And I remember so vividly, when I talk about being a church girl, but when I think about my childhood as a young girl, the divorce of my parents was really one of the most defining experience for me. And when I think about that time, it's funny what comes to my mind. I don't know why, but it does. Waiting to exhale. I know y'all have heard it, you've seen it. Waiting to exhale, and it brings me to think about this concept today that I want to share with you all about waiting to exhale. As modern moms, we are always navigating, we're always juggling, we are always doing what we do, and I'm reminded of waiting to exhale because one of the things I was most excited about today was creating a space for us to exhale, for us to breathe. I see someone in the chat said that they love the movie. It's a novel written by Terry McMillan, four women living in Phoenix, Arizona, and they're waiting until the day that they feel comfortable in a committed relationship with someone to finally exhale, right? So that's the whole plot, the whole plot line. You're talking about four women. Savannah, she's played by the late and great Whitney Houston, who Savannah's a TV producer in the movie Waiting to Exhale. She finds herself entangled in a relationship with a married man. She realizes that the wife of the married man, sis, is not leaving her husband, and so she realized she needs to find her own man, right? That she needs to find her own man. Then you have Bernie, who's played by Angela Bassett. I say that Angela Bassett is the one woman that I let my husband look at. He loves her, right? But Angela Bassett, she plays Bernie. She gives up her dreams because she wants to raise her family, and she's holding her husband down in the process. And what ends up happening is that after she's given it all up, he leaves her for another woman. Then you have Robin. Robin, sis is a boss. She's a high executive. Where my boss is, she's a boss. She's a boss, but she's also a mistress in the movie Waiting to Exhale. And she ends up moving through that situation. And then you have Gloria, she's played by Loretta Devine. Y'all know that's our girl. In this movie, she's a salon owner and a single mother, right? And she's navigating what that looks like. And yes, in the end, when all is said and done, all four of these women are able to navigate their situation and their circumstance, and it ends up working out, right? Savannah, she makes the decision to make more healthy decisions, and she gets out of the entanglement. You have Bernie, she divorces, and then she ends up being with somebody who actually encourages her to pursue her catering dreams. You have Robin, she ends up expecting a child. She becomes a mother, but she becomes a mother by her lover, and then she ends up leaving him, and she decides that she wants to raise the child on her own. And then Gloria, she evolves. She's a single mom. We're my single mothers. She's a single mom, and she decides that she's going to let her son spread his wings, and then she begins to choose self-love over self-sacrifice. I know what y'all are thinking. Well, Brittany, this is not a relationship conference. I know it's not a relationship conference. I know that. But what I do believe that this plot in this story really does share for us, and although it's not centered around motherhood, it's centered on what I believe to be womanhood, not just any type of, but modern womanhood. And I have to give us credit. I have to give our generation of modern women credit, because I think that we self-care and self-love and wholeness and centering and spirituality and all of that, it's become something that's been a bit more accessible for us. And it's something that we're making a priority. We're spa daying it as often as we can. We're exploring new spiritual practices. We're girl tripping. We're vacationing. We're sitting on our yoga mats. We're hitting the gym. I gotta give us our credit. But there's something about it's one thing to be a modern woman, okay? But there's something about being a modern mama, okay? Something about being a modern mama that by nature, I don't know if it's the way that our creator designed it to be, but by nature, we have a habit of allowing ourselves, when we have children, it might be all good up until then, we got it together, we're doing the things that we need to do, we are at the center of our lives. But it's something that happens when we become a modern mama, something that happens where we start off at the center of our lives. We got our hobbies, we have the things that we want and need to do. But it's something that happens when we become a modern mama. And some of y'all been modern mamas for far longer than me. I'm only 7 years in the game. But modern mama is something that happens when we become a modern mama, that we allow ourselves to be pushed away from the center of our lives. Okay? We allow ourselves, whether it's the kids, whether it's the juggle of the work-life balance, whether it's the home routines, we got to wash the clothes, we got to cook the food, we got to keep the home organized, whether it's the heartbreak of a failed marriage, a failed relationship, whether it's having to co-parent and to navigate what that looks like. We push ourselves to the margins of our own lives, right? Our own lives. We started here and something happens, we become a mama. We push ourselves to the margins of our lives. And at the margins, we're getting the scraps. We're getting the scraps. We're getting the scraps of our own time. We're getting the scraps of our own energy. We're getting the scraps of our own love. We're getting the scraps of grace. We don't even give ourselves grace. We're literally getting the scraps. We're getting leftovers. What's left over? We eat the crumbs and we try to make it like it's a whole cake. It's just crumbs. We trying to make something out of nothing here. We push ourselves to the margins. Think of it like when you have a bottle to drink, a bottle of water, a bottle of Sprite, whatever, the juice, fresh juice. And that last swig, that's what we give ourselves to work with. That last swig that's left. And from that last swig, we're living, we're eating, we're drinking, we're loving, we're pushing, we're working. From that last swig. You ain't talking about a whole bottle, because we dished that out. We dished that out already to everybody and everything, because we've taken ourselves from the center and we've pushed ourselves to the margins. And so from that little swig, that last little bit at the bottom, that when somebody offer you, you want to sip of your drink, your kids, they come running, their hands all sticky, they want to try to give you something they already drunk. We normally in real life, we don't want the last swig, right? But we mother and we woman and we wife and we CEO from the swig, the minimum. And we're stretched and we're pulled and we're exhausted and we're worn the heck out. And all the while we're doing this, we're holding our breath, because we can't quite catch our breath. We're holding our breath, because if I exhale, all of this is going to fall apart. If I exhale, okay, let me just hold it together. If I could just get to the next Momference, if I just let me get to next Just let me get the next June. I'm gonna just hold out. If I can get to the girls trip, we getting ready to go. We getting ready to kick it. We getting ready to tear Cabo up. We just give me until then. But until then, I'm gonna hold my breath. And when you hold your breath, that means you take it all in, but you don't never let anything out. You take it all in. Okay? I'ma hold it in. The kids acting a fool. I'ma hold it in. My husband getting on my nerves. I'ma hold it in. I ain't got no man. My man done left me. I'ma hold it in though. Okay. The people at the job, they're getting on my nerves. I'm just going to hold it in because I have to hold it in, because if I don't, everything is going to fall apart. We wait to exhale. We wait. We're waiting for the next vacation, the next spa day, the next summer when the kids go with the grandparents. And in our waiting, we're becoming exhausted, and we're becoming weary, and we're becoming sick, and we're becoming anxious, and we're becoming irritable, and we're becoming bitter. And so one of the reasons that my brand partner and co-founder of HerSpace co-created HerSpace was for modern women like me and you to be, to breathe, and to become, right? Because we don't really have no space. All we have left at the end, after we dish everything out, we have the crumbs, we have the swig, we have the minimum. And so now we need a space. We need a space. We gotta take up some room. Because remember, we've been pushed to the margins. And so now we gotta work our way back to the center. Tired, out of breath. We crawling. Some of us crawling to the center. I know some of y'all on here where you barely made it this morning. Barely. You barely made it. But today we're going to crawl our way back to the center of our lives so that we can exhale. That's what we're going to do. We're going to crawl our way back to the center of our lives so that we no longer have to wait to exhale. One of the signature tools of HerSpace Co. is our layered living planner. And one of the things about a layered living planner I'm talking about is it's an organizer. So it's a planner, 12 months. And we build these 12, we build each month around a layer of the modern woman. I mean, we hit everything from your dreams to your relationships to your home and your living space. We cover it all. Evolver, what it means to level up one day to the next, 1 month to the next, one year to the next. I see some layered living planner lovers in the chat. And with each layer that we build it, we created our own language. I talked about being a modern woman. And there's a her in all of these words. So there's dreamer, there's lover, there's organizer, there's evolver, there's glamour, there's explorer, survivor, there's creator, right? What does it mean to create, to make something out of nothing? As women, we're going to do that anyways. What does it mean to be a leader? Lead her, investor, giver. But my favorite layer is it's the last layer in the layered living planner that we call women to work through during the month of December. It's believer. Believer. Believe her. And this layer is dedicated to the soul. It's dedicated to the place where every single thing from us flows. Every single thing. Our ability to mother, our ability to be successful in our businesses, our ability to run and navigate our homes, our ability to be a good friend, a good sister girl to our girls, to our tribe. It's what allows us to be able to be who we are. But when we have pushed ourselves away from the center, our ability to do that begins to change. But listen, this is what I came to tell y'all today. Listen, that and my girl says this in a poetry book, Salt, that if the sea can calm itself, if the sea, I'm talking about a raging sea, waves, all of that, if the sea can calm itself, so can you. There's nothing going on. There's nothing too big that's going on that's more important than you being at the center of yourself and being at the center of your life. Because from it, every single thing flows. And I know it can be weird. And this is going to be weird what I'm going to ask you to do. But I want you to place your hand over your heart. Just come on and do it with me. I can't see y'all, but I'm imagine. Okay? Put your hand over your heart. I know it's weird because little exercises like this kind of make me a little uncomfortable. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, but we have to do this. Put your hand over your heart. The very thing that you love your children with every ounce of your being from. This very thing right here. I want you to hold your hand. Don't move it. Don't move it. Your heart. Leave it there. Don't move it. The longer you leave it there, I guarantee you'll begin to remember how human you are. Yes, you're a mama. I'm a mama. And I love my baby girl Harlem with everything that I have. Yes, you a boo. You a boo. You a bae. Yes, you're a best friend. Yes, you a boss. You a bad boss. You a boss. Yes, you're a daughter. You may be a sister. You may be an auntie, that rich auntie. But before all of that, don't move your hand. Before all of that, you are human. You're not superwoman. You're not invisible. You are not dispensable. You make mistakes. You cry. You hurt. You get tired. You grow weary. You don't always know. You get afraid. You get upset. You are a living, loving, breathing human being. And because of that, you don't have to wait to exhale. You're a living, loving, breathing. To breathe means to take it in, but to let that thing out. You're a living, loving, breathing human being. And so if nobody else has given you permission, I want you to mark this day that you have permission to exhale. You have permission to exhale. All that you've been holding on to, let it go. All that you've taken on, all that you've collected over this journey of motherhood, I'm talking about from the beginning of it, the beginning of the journey, what it took for you to get to this point as a mother, to conceive. Some of us have miscarried. Some of us have given up things along the way. Some of us have lost things. Everything that you've collected and taken on along the way, take it off. Everything that you've carried, all the things that you've packed in your luggage on this journey, what they did to you, what they said to you, what they didn't do, how they didn't do it, how they should have done it, what you should have done, how you should have done it, what you could have done, who you could have been. All that you're carrying along this journey, lay it down. Because if the sea can calm itself, so can you. And I don't want this to just be a Momference thing. Because what I know about modern women, modern mamas, we're going to go to the conference. We're going to hop on the virtual live stream. We're going to go to the yoga class. We're going to do that. But when there's no conference going on, and when it's no opportunity to have these spaces in real life, in real time, because we're coming from the crumbs and the swig, we don't make room for ourselves to exhale. And so we wait. But what I want us to do today is that I want us to commit. And I see it in the chat room. It sounds like it's been some things we've exhaled today. What's more important to me, though, is that you exhale tomorrow. Okay? We're going to do that. We're going to cry at a conference. I mean, we're going to fall out. And don't get us at a church conference. It's going to be good to us. We're going to have our notebooks going to be full of notes. I know how this goes. What's more important to me, though, and what you deserve more than anything else, is not this moment right here, but the ability tomorrow to exhale. That when we've been able to put it all down this weekend. But when the weekend is over and we got to drop the kids off at summer camp, we got to get them to daycare, and the husband what's important is that we exhale tomorrow. We're not waiting to exhale no more. We're not waiting for another Momference. I love y'all. I love this vision. But we're not going to wait until somebody else gives us permission to exhale. Every single day, when our feet hit the floor, we are going to make the decision to exhale. And for some of us, that means exhaling with our pen and our paper. I'm a writer, so I'm going to do that. That's my exhale. Okay? For some of us, it's a run in the morning. That's our exhale. For others of us, I told y'all I love church. I'm a church girl, so that praise and worship is an exhale for me. But what's most important is that you understand how you exhale, what that looks like for you. We have about 2 minutes left. If you have a pen and paper, I know y'all came here for journaling, and the journaling means nothing if we don't have this part, though. And so I believe some of you received our notebook set in your pack, in your box. Others of you received our printable that we sent your way, the Believer printable. So if you have that, please pull that out. What I want you to do is take the last few moments. You just have a scrap piece of paper to write what you're experiencing right now. What are you thinking? What's on your heart? Do that now. Because the thing about journaling is that if we're not careful, it's just words. If we don't do this part, where we stop, Get ourselves up off these margins, the margins of our lives, the margins of our time, the margins of our energy. Put ourselves back at the center of it. And that's what I love. I do what's called intentional mornings. Intent, I-N, capital T-E-N. Tiona, intentional mornings. You take 30 minutes. All it is 30. You take 10 minutes to read. You're going to read something that's pouring something back into you. That's my way of recentering myself. Something that's pouring their way back to me. I take 10 minutes to plan. I take my layered living planner out in the mornings. 30 minutes, intentional. You take 10 minutes to read something. Maybe you take 10 minutes, listen to a podcast, 10 minutes to plan. And then I take 10 minutes to pray, to journal, to meditate. 30 minutes. All you got to do is get out the bed. Don't hit the alarm. Don't hit that alarm. When it goes off, get up. Why? Because we're done eating from crumbs. We're done. We're done. Before the day starts, we're going to plan our piece. We're going to do that. We're going to get up and we're going to recenter ourselves. And we're going to do it for ourselves. We're going to do it for our children. We're going to do it for the people we have to go to see in the office. We are going to exhale. So that exhaling becomes a habit. I love y'all. I'm so grateful that we had this time together. But just remember that if the sea can calm itself, so can you. So can you.